It's the 12th day of October 2022. Good evening. Welcome to Newsnight. My name is Kenneth. Yes, let's take a look at our top stories for tonight. Government in a crunch meeting with 5 teacher unions to avert a nationwide strike hours before it takes effect. And disappointed as workers of state-owned transport company Metro Mass Transit Limited started an indefinite strike today over poor working conditions. Former chairman of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Freddie Blay, justifies his law firm's decision to defend 4 foreign nationals standing trial with Galamsey kingpin Aisha Wan. His party has, however, disassociated itself from the decision. Coming up in business, year-on-year inflation shot up by 3.3% to 37.2% in September, as against 33.9% recorded in August 2022. We'll tell you the implication. And later, we'll take you to Somalia, where 21 Al-Shabaab militants in that country's central Hiran region killed and dozens injured during a foiled attempt to storm a military base early on Wednesday. Details are up shortly. Hello again. Former national chairman of the NPP, Freddie Blay, has justified his law firm's decision to defend 3 Chinese nationals and a Vietnamese who are standing trial with Galamsey kingpin Aisha Wan for engaging in illegal mining and undertaking a mining operation without a license. According to him, the facts of the matter as presented to his law firm by the suspects show they have no connection with Aisha Wan and have never been engaged in any mining activity. Former national chairman of the NPP's law firm, Blay and Associates, is defending the 4 accomplices who are being accused by the state of engaging in illegal mining activities. This came to light at the Criminal Court 5 on Tuesday, when it was announced that former national chairman of the NPP, Freddie Blay, will be representing 4 accomplices of Aisha Wan who are being held by the state for their involvement in illegal mining. Freddie Blay tells Metro News people's political affiliations should not deny anyone the right to justice and fair representation in court.
Why is Freddie Blay chambers? I understand it, that you, former chairmans, Freddie Blay, your chambers, defending what in some cases they say, once you are arraigned before the court, presumption sometimes be that those who have been brought before the court may be guilty. And for that reason, you should stay away, far away.
He holds the view that his clients are innocent based on the facts presented to his firm.
We are not representing Aisha. I personally have heard the story of our client, the 4 of them. And believe you me, I'm convinced that they are innocent. If I believe so, there will be others who may also be convinced that they are innocent. And we've left that one before court, and this is what is going on. Understandably, I've realized people are talking about it. Some even are taking advantage of it and making it look like as if it's a grand conspiracy. Between this time around, it's not even against our chambers per se, but they're talking about it that it's a government scheme, that government is not fighting Galamsey, that government is hypocritical about it.
Freddie Blay also touched briefly on the current economic hardship and the rising cost of living. He attributes the situation to the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war.
As IMF officers and the president of IMF was here to say that Ghana is going through this crisis not because the economy has been mismanaged, but because of the various events that are particularly the COVID and now the war going on, and as against our own commitment internally over things that we are doing, like putting more money in education, and putting more money in putting up health institutions.
Meanwhile, President of the Institute for Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies, Dr. Ishmael Norman, has described the decision of Freddie Blayh to defend alleged accomplices of Aisha One as a ploy to cover up relevant information key to addressing illegal mining in the country.
Freddie Blayh's decision to defend 3 Chinese nationals and a Vietnamese who was standing trial for illegal mining and undertaking a mining operation without a license has come with all obvious backlash. In furtherance, Ishmael Norman, who is the president for Institute for Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies, has noted Freddie Blayh's decision as parallel to government's commitment to fighting the menace.
When you tell your client that I don't want you to talk to the media, they wouldn't talk to the media. And so if there is some kind of revelation that may be damaging to MPP, by circling all the accused persons with MPP lawyers, you basically build a firewall around them. And therefore, no opposition lawyer, for example, will get opportunity to go close to them to get some kind of information which, during the normal stream of law practice, that kind of information can leak into the public domain.
The MPP Eastern Regional Communications Director, Evans Osei-Yeboah, however, says the involvement of the Attorney General in the case proves the President's commitment to ending illegal small-scale mining. Evans Osei-Yeboah dissociated the New Patriotic Party from Freddie Blayh's decision.
I want to put on record this afternoon that the party disassociates itself from the decision of our former chairman. But secondly, government has shown a lot of commitment. The Nana Addo-led government has shown a lot of commitment in fighting Galamsey and will stop at nothing to ensure a successful fight. What we need now is to call on all meaning Ghanaians to come on board for us to be able to fight this menace. And this explains the decision by government to as it were, deploy the Attorney General himself to conduct the case or handle the case. So government commitment in fighting this menace is known in public. But the decision by our former chairman to defend Aisha One is a sole personal decision.
Away from that story, enforcement officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority have today closed down 4 shopping centers in Accra over failure to integrate their VAT invoices into the authority's newly deployed electronic invoicing system. The affected shopping centers include 3 game shopping outlets and the Tema Community 25 branch of Palace Mall.
The Ghana Revenue Authority rolled out the electronic system for VAT collectors from October 1, 2022 for 600 large taxpayers that generate more than 90% of VAT revenue. Unlike the manual system, the e-invoicing system allows the GRA to monitor live transactions in companies where it has been deployed, thereby making it impossible for taxpayers to either under-invoice or avoid payment of tax. To check compliance with the new system, officials first visited the Accra Mall branch of GAME. The officials proceeded to the Tema branch of the Palace Mall, but the shopping center was not in operation. GRA suspected management had prior information about the action. When the team got to the Achimota and West Hills branch of the game shopping outlet, workers were working but had to be stopped for the enforcement exercise for the shop to be sealed off. The area enforcement manager of GRA in charge of Accra Central, Joseph Annan, told Metro News the authority has been engaging management of some selected businesses on how to commence the system, but most of them failed to comply.
GAME is also one of the 50 selected taxpayers who are supposed to hook their system onto our system, and they have failed to do so. So we have sealed off their branches.
He therefore called on affected shop managers to hook their system onto the electronic VAT invoicing system for their outlet to be opened immediately.
We are not comfortable doing these things. because they have also employed Ghanaians. They will be seated at home for some time until the system is corrected. But then we always say that certain things need to be done if that is what will bring the results. All we are asking for is for them to hook their systems onto our system. That is all we are asking for. And if it's not yet 3, if any of them should work on their system to hook onto our system, and that can be done immediately, we'll open the place up for them.
Some managers and customers also spoke to Metro News.
My staff is at stake because we are all outside. We don't know what is happening. So how are we going to start everything? Are we going to work, or when is it going to open? That's my concern.
It's very surprising to me that as a customer, I used to come to the mall all the time to buy stuff. I see that there is a VAT under it. I think that those money has been taken by the government to finalize the country, everything we do in the country. I never knew those monies, they have not been paying. So it's even surprised to me that the DRAs are here closing the shops.
To the Ashanti region now, where the sit-down strike by business owners in the central business district of Kumasi is already affecting economic activities and livelihoods. Affected clients have appealed to government and other stakeholders to intervene and resolve the concerns of the business owners in order to enhance the confidence of SMEs.
Uko store ya ko jamba no uko we ko jamba no nti yes rampanin fo be mra be meka asam kro ne asinti aba to store hima yenya ne ma to yeni uko du kwa na ya de ko no spray san ha ya adwen because can you pray uko du ba now rollers for this kana then na de we am one say you were bantu no ya ba ya ba he ni ya ni be any so see be ya to adem so see be we ala said ya ben de be among some more the Abba Bibli. Yeah, you're seeing the mother. I better yet.
Yes, some from this is my prepper. When I look in it, then you can a running. Yamane post road, a man yet money. This one
they worry us because we here with the work. Monday they no open, Tuesday they no open, today they no open. So as we day here now, we no get pocket money sir. The money that we work put out, we use chop. So we dey beg them say they for do whatever they will do so that we will come back to work.
Yeah, yeah, Tony, that's not any at all. Said your money for Mama, you are sitting with the canoe, Titi Ghana. Who call that country in Antissa? When you say yes, I did, we are not then so, who call the end? I did bet you book, that baby, yeah, the 2 million. You pass a bassa, Nanado, I didn't who you are, if you need to also. No one young people in Nipa. Also, I'm disappointed, sir. The 2 of a man. You
see, I can't first no do maybe a 4,000. Now, stores are closed down, and I shut it down.
In other stories tonight, the Food and Drugs Authority says it will not relent to apply the law on any outlet that defies their directive to return contaminated sausage by Italian company Agricola Trevally to their offices. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of Food Division told Metro News they have intensified efforts to make sure the product does not spread in the markets.
The FDA issued a communique cautioning the public to beware of AIA woody and parvo-contaminated sausages that may have hit the Ghanaian market after its attention was drawn by Italian authorities of recall activities ongoing in Europe and other countries on the products. A market survey conducted by the FDA revealed packs of parvo Frankfurt sausages containing Listeria infection with expiry date of November 2022 were discovered in a cold store as whole in the Volta region. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of Food Division at the FDA, Rodrigue Dedieje, observed the bacteria contained in the product is deadly.
Listeria in poultry is dangerous. Listeria, in fact, if you look at the background of this particular one, it has already killed about 66 people in Europe. Most of the time, infants, the children, old people are usually what we call the very vulnerable in the system. And so you want to be sure that, your protection covers everybody. And those who are very vulnerable, have already, there's been something like that has happened. And I think it's not in anybody's interest. So if the public do know that this product that is out there has the potential to do such and such, then you want to make sure that you don't deal with such a product.
He warned the FDA will not relent to apply the law on any outlet that fails to return the contaminated product to their offices.
The sanctions vary all the way to in terms of imprisonment to fines. In such a case, looking at the risk that it poses, definitely there'll be a heavy sentence for anybody who knows and hears this information, and you would flout it. What for? To sell to somebody else to take? No. As thank we go so far for the work that we have done, and a lot of the cold stores have been very cooperative. We've gone, we've checked, we have not seen such things.
He explained the product found in the Volta region is still in detention for safe disposal, although he could not give details about the exact quantity.
You're still watching Newsnight on Metro TV. Let's bring you more stories tonight as staff of Metro Mass Transit Limited are on a sit-down strike, demanding the immediate removal of their managing director and 2 other deputies. They are also, by this protest, requesting their unpaid 3-month salaries.
These passengers were left stranded at the Kaneshie Metro Mass Transit Yard with their luggage, hoping to get a bus to their various destinations. So these passengers have to now resort to the private means of transporting themselves to their various destinations. And I'll interact with them. Pacho, ahina mutiaye.
Okay, fair. I mean, but it should be between 60 and 80 cities.
Enti Ufa Metro Massa, yeah, Joe.
Okay, me and I call a feeding call. And you want to give me 60 cities.
The demands of the union are that we expect the president to wage or to remove the executive. If these things are done today, the next day you see us working.
Okay, but how far has this strike affected the people who usually patronize buses from the Metro Mass Transit?
It's affecting us a lot. We, the young guys who are started doing some petty business, is affecting us because we are not having that much money to buy a car like this. But the Metro Mass, the price is quite okay. And now that the government is not paying them, I think the government should do something about it.
The technical unit of the Mass Transit Service has also thrown their weight behind the action. They are demanding better conditions of service and availability of funds to carry out maintenance.
Not that we are supporting the strike, but we are all striking.
Okay. Instruction
from our leaders, union leaders, who says that there's a document out, and when you read that document, according to the document, they have instructed us to embark and help them to embark on this track so that we can achieve our target.
Why? He's the MD. Nana Say is the DMD, Sampa, for operations and technical, right? Okay. And Sampa, finance and administration. They have to go, simple.
Well, what they demand from government is that government ensures that it heeds to their demand. Until then, they will still stage the strike till the government intervenes. Reporting for Metro News, Elvis Ando, Metro Mass Transit Yard.
Right. Meanwhile, in the northern region, workers of the Metro Mass Transit Limited are also on strike over salary delays and poor working conditions. The workers also called on the managing director and other managers to resign or be sacked. Workers of the company in the early hours of Wednesday declared an indefinite strike over what they call unfair treatment meted out to them by management of the company. According to the workers, management of the company care less about the welfare of the workers, demanding the immediate removal of the MD and other managing officers of the company. They also revealed that for over 7 years, not even a pesewa has been added to the salary of any of the workers. They are therefore calling on government to act on the matter.
We have taken loans. Most of us cannot pay our world school fees. We can't pay our world school fees. Most of us have slept in darkness. As we speak, some of us are still sleeping in darkness because there is no money for you to buy power. There is no money for you to buy water. Some of us have standpipes. We cannot get water through the pipes because it's been disconnected.
They added that managers of the company do not have the technical know-how to manage the company, saying that many buses are grounded simply because there are no tires or brake oil to get them running.
There are some buses parked that needs tires just to get on road. We have a lot of challenges when it comes to spare parts. The new buses that were just brought in are due for servicing, and management is saying there is no oil to do the servicing. And at the end of the day, management says we are not working. What shows we are not working? The buses are always on road for everybody to see.
Let's now bring you our 3 facts of the World Cup. Fact number 1, the fastest World Cup red card in history was by Uruguay's Jose Batista. He lasted only 56 seconds on the field during the 1986 game against Scotland before being sent off with a red card. Fact number 2 is 2 World Cup finals have been decided on penalties. Brazil beat Italy in 1994 and Italy beat France in 2006. Fact number 3 is Qatar is the least populated country to have hosted the World Cup. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. Now, several residents and owners of public toilet facilities in the Ablekuma South constituency have been summoned over the spillage of fecal matter in drains at Choko Chimwena. While some members engaged in the cleanup exercise, others also questioned the need for the initiative.
A very busy day it has been for residents here at Choko Chimwena, Lanteman, Tea Garden and other surrounding communities. Many people came out today in their numbers to willingly get rid of filth in their various drainage. You have people working to clear their various frontages, others clearing their homes.
We are pleading with the AMA, assembly members, and MP to help us to silt the choked gutters. We are really suffering.
One thing that actually struck us today is people who have connected their sewage or fecal waste into the gutters. So this one you actually see some sand, but it's a mixture of various waste. It looks as though the connection has been done from the bathrooms, but you enter the various homes and then you realize that all the connections you are seeing, most of them are coming from WCs or water closets in the various houses.
The issue is that there was some time ago that we had a report
that they were discharging into the drain. So we came and investigated. We got to realize that it was true. So this one, they have a filtration system that they put here. This is the main tank, where this tank is. There's a main tank there. So the filtration, it filtered this thing so that the water will come here and then get to this place. So we took them to court, and the court ordered them to close it down. So we came and then we supervised them for them to block the line that is coming from the main tank into the chamber. So and this is the line. This is the pipe that is coming from the main tank into the chamber. So they block that chamber, and then the pipe that is from the chamber into the drain, they also cap it. So and that's the cap. You can look at the cap over there.
I see some capping.
Yes, so the water cannot flow into the chamber.
So where does that water go?
No, the water doesn't go. The ghost of this one, it is rainwater that comes here. But this water doesn't come. That's how it is.
On the sidelines, vehicles that were also parked haphazardly were also towed by other towing services contracted to join this work here. My name is Shadrach Odame Eja, reporting for Metro News.
In other stories tonight, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Kwaku Afriyie, has inaugurated a 7-member governing board of Nuclear Regulatory Authority to help push for Ghana's nuclear energy power generation.
The inauguration is in accordance with Section 7 of the Nuclear Regulatory Act of 2015, Act 895. Addressing the board during the inauguration, Dr. Kwaku Afriyie said the new board takes office at a time when there are global uncertainties ranging from economic instability, climate uncertainties, energy crisis, potential food shortage, and the unpredictable consequences of Russia-Ukraine war, which he says is optimistic they will do better.
Addressing economic instability, climate uncertainties, energy crisis, potential food shortage, the unpredictable consequences of Russia-Ukraine war, insecurity as a result of insurrections in our West African sub-regions, and a myriad of other minor issues would congeal and have a large measurable effect on Ghana.
Dr. Kwaku Afriyie added that with the declaration by President Akufo-Addo on the Ghana's inclusion of nuclear technology in its power generation mix, it behoves on the governing board of this all-important regulatory body to initiate pragmatic policies and actions that will best prepare the authority to effectively deliver on its mandate for nuclear power program.
Ghana was certainly at the forefront. In fact, one of the few countries in Africa that have gone forefront. So actually, we have no business being here. By my own calculations, we should have been having nuclear generation to our energy mix some 2 decades or so ago, at the very least.
Now, 4 labor unions in Ghana's public tertiary education sector and government are currently engaged in a crunch meeting over their conditions of service. All 4 labor unions in Ghana's public tertiary threatened to lay down their tools on October 13th if government fails to honor the agreement they signed on their worsening conditions of service before calling off their last strike. Ahead of today's emergency meeting with government to resolve the matter, leadership of the 4 unions met to receive and assess reports from members for their next line of action. We understand the engagement is still ongoing, so whatever comes out from it, we'll definitely let you know.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflux Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Give Us Floor and WC Cleaners.
Now, a breast cancer survivor and the director of Temaport, Professor Sandra Opoku, has encouraged women to use their lips to check for tumors in their breast. She says checking will ensure early diagnosis and treatment. We'll definitely bring you that story later in our subsequent bulletin. But in other stories related to breast cancer, the Federation of Herbal and Traditional Medicine Practitioners in Ghana are advocating for more research into herbal-based medications in order for them to get certification for their drugs. In a Metro TV expose on the treatment of breast cancer using herbal medicine, practitioners lamented their neglect despite the survival rate of patients who opt for herbal treatment.
Treatment of cancers, including breast cancer, is usually long and painful, requiring several months of strict adherence to medical guidelines directed by medical professionals. We are well aware that there is the orthodox way of treating breast cancer, and there are other forms of treating breast cancer, including the use of herbal or traditional medicines. In Ghana, the 1992 Constitution stipulates Act 2000 number 575 to guide traditional and herbal medicine practice. Usually, the trust people have in herbal-based medicines is shrouded in myths and disbelief of their potency. In the era of breast cancer awareness, the Ghana Federation of Herbal and Traditional Practitioners Association are touting the difficulties facing their practice. General Secretary of the association, Nana Obri, however, confirms the efficacy of herbal drugs.
We have instances where our products has been collected for all this research, and at the end of it, it doesn't come back. So the word I can use is, I don't think they have the full capacity to do that. And nobody should blame the practitioners, because we are ready, we can do everything. From where I sit as the General Secretary, I have evidence of my members who have treated a lot of cancer patients with all the cancers.
We are here in Ada. We are at Vedo Herbal Center. This facility is known for the treatment of breast cancer. We are here to see for ourselves how the treatment has gone on for women over the past years, and also listen to some success stories to demystify whatever people have about the use of herbal medicines in the treatment of breast cancer. Can you roughly give us an idea how many women in a year come here?
Oh, a year like this, about say 15 to 20 women come here. Yeah, they come.
And what is the success rate? Once they come here, do they all get healed?
Here, if you come, thank God that God will touch you, because I have so many helps that to cure those things.
Elizabeth Ametefe is a breast cancer survivor who got her healing from this center.
That time I had 15 years in me.
It's been 15 years now since I got healed from breast cancer. My treatment lasted 7 months.
7 months.
She narrates her journey to survival.
It felt itchy, as if an ant had bitten my breast. I felt pain inside my breast too. I didn't take it to the hospital and came straight to the herbal doctor. The cancer manifested once.
Now, need to make an urgent call, but you realize you don't have credit, or your very important conversation was cut short because you ran out of airtime. Well, there is no need for all these stress, because all you have to do on MTN is to dial *506# and you get to borrow credit on MTN Extra Time. The best part is you can also borrow data by dialing the same number, and you can bundle data whenever you run out of credit to continue browsing as always. Your conversations don't need to end. Borrow Extra Time now and enjoy the things you love on Ghana's favorite network, MTN. We'll be back after this break. In business tonight, inflation for September has reached 37.2%, and that is according to the latest figures from the Ghana Statistical Service. According to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Enin, food and non-alcoholic beverages were the major drivers of the September inflation.
Consumer Price Index and rate of inflation. Consumer Price Index for the month of September 2022 stood at 140.6. This culminated in a year-on-year inflation of 37.2% for the month of September 2022. Disaggregating this from a food and non-food perspective, food recorded a year-on-year inflation of 37.8% and non-food inflation 36.8%, indicating a 1 percentage point variation between food and non-food inflation for the month of September 2022. From a domestic inflation, otherwise locally produced item and imported items and inflation perspective, we recorded a 4.9 percentage variation as imported items recorded 40.7% for the month of September 2022 relative to 35.8% for locally produced items, or domestic inflation 35.8% for the month of September 2022. We do not present the inflation rate for the previous month and for the year-on-year because of the new series that we've released today. So for purposes of comparison, the chain link has to be done to enable us do the historic comparison. From a regional perspective, we identified Eastern region recording the highest rate of inflation of 47.1% and the Upper West region the least inflation of 22.9%.
The government has set up a 5-member consultative committee to lead the financial sector stakeholder engagements to reach a deal with the IMF in Ghana's debt restructuring. The group will examine views from financial sector players to deal with the issues in the financial sector before reaching a deal with the IMF for an economic program. According to the Finance Ministry, the committee is chaired by Albert Essien, with Simon Donu as vice chair. The other members are Alex Esiedu, Mabel Nyakwa, and Peter Inti. Banking consultant Nanotue Champon says the committee's expectations and goals are to ensure orderliness and confidence in government's negotiations with the IMF.
IMF is recommending that Ghana looks at its domestic debt to kind of restructure. Now, the domestic debt will cover the whole financial system, and the financial system is divided into 4 subsectors: the banking sector, the capital markets, insurance, and then the pensions. So this committee that has been set up is a consultative committee which will be consulting with these 4 sectors and then try and come to some advisory for the government team that will be negotiating with IMF. Right. So that is their role. And the first 2 members, that is Abetisian and Simon Donu, represent the banking sector. Then Alex Esiedu is for the capital markets, Mabel Nyakwa for insurance, and then Peter Enti for pensions. So basically, that's what the whole issue is about.
Otue Champon clarified that the 5-member committee's role will be different from the group that accompanied President Akufo-Addo to the Netherlands when he met the IMF boss, Kristalina Georgieva, on the sidelines of the Africa Adaptation Summit.
They are not involved at all. This committee is consulting with these 4 sectors that is in the financial system that I've enumerated. And so they will be taking the views and concerns of these parties and then taking them to the team currently in Washington who will be coming back to Ghana and then take it from there.
The IMF team in September met with officials at the Finance Ministry after Ghana requested a loan from the fund in July. The country is seeking a $3 billion bailout from the Bretton Woods institution to support Ghana's. Sports news is next. And in sports tonight, Black Meteors head coach Ibrahim Tanko says they will qualify ahead of Mozambique in the Under-23 African Cup of Nations qualifiers.
We didn't have a chance to qualify to the Olympic, but we have another chance, as you said, and we are doing everything possible so that we will qualify to the Africa and then from there to qualify to the Olympic Games. I mean, when we started the last time, we had a lot of problem because of the normalization, but I think with this one, we have a FA in place. We hope that and all the support we need, the FA will give us so that we also give our best to qualify the team to Olympics. This is the time we have. We have almost 3 weeks now. And we started 2 weeks ago when the league is on, so we normally train on Monday and then leave the players on Thursday. But I mean, we knew that the league is not coming up any moment from now. I think 14th August is the next court date. So we have all the players here, so we are doing everything possible to have our team so that on the 21st to 23rd, we are playing the first game against Mozambique outside. We hope that by then we have a solid team too.
The South American Football Confederation, CONMEBOL, expressed its unanimous support for incumbent FIFA President Gianni Infantino as he seeks to be re-elected at the 73rd FIFA Congress in March next year.
The 16 November deadline to enter the FIFA presidential contest, the South American Football Confederation CONMEBOL has expressed its unanimous support for the incumbent FIFA president Gianni Infantino. This follows a similar gesture in recent months by the Asian Football Confederation AFC and the Confederation of African Football, openly declaring their position in favor of the incumbent FIFA chief. Infantino, 52, will be standing for a third stint in charge of football global governing body, having defeated Sheikh Salman to claim the presidency in 2016, following Sepp Blatter's resignation. The election is scheduled for 16th of March 2023 in the Rwandan capital Kigali during the FIFA Congress. Without anybody openly declaring their intentions of contesting, the Italian Swiss is in a poor position to win and again stir the affairs of the world's top football position.
We have the latest in entertainment and international news coming up after this break. Don't go anywhere. Vocal delivery is an important part of music. While some musicians do not pay attention to the understanding of music composition, vocal coaches have shared diverse views on key elements on what good vocals entail.
One thing which can mark out a bad song is its weak or feeble vocals. Research has shown that singing with strong vocals can be good for a musician on many levels. Speaking of Metro TV's entertainment review program, vocal coach and music director Naya Opare charged musicians to be intentional with their vocal.
Basically, your vocals mix the song. When you have bad vocals in a song, you don't expect your song to travel. So most of the songs that are out there, that are good songs, you enjoy them, are because of the vocals in the song. When you have bad vocals in a song, it gets even if you're not musically inclined, you just don't enjoy the song. So it's very important to have a premium programming on how you want your songs to be by being intentional on every sound you produce in a song. That is what is going to make the song exceptional. Every song can sound the same. Everybody can do a particular song. But what makes one stand out because of how they make the one that stands out shows that there has been a lot of exceptional work on that particular project.
Michael Apreku, popularly known as TMC, agreed and also added that good vocals add color to music.
I think what I would want to add to what Naya has already said is the fact that vocals are elements of sounds. So in as much as when you hear a particular sound and it's disturbing, you can tell that this sound is disturbing. You can tell that this is noise. You can tell that this one sounds good, that one sounds good. That's the function of vocals. So they are responsible for adding colors to the elements in the music.
Commenting on whether songs produced in recent times have good vocal composition, Michael Apreku disclosed that gradually musicians are understanding music as compared to some years ago.
I think so far so good. I think they are getting better. There has been this kind of understanding in music as compared to before. Yeah, earlier, people used to have this perception that the anointing is, I mean, if you have the anointing, that's it. I mean, what's with the voice? Yeah. But
International news is next.
into what?
"20 Al-Shabaab militants in the Yasuman area of Somalia's central Hiran region have been killed. The information ministry says the Somali National Army killed the militants and injured dozens during a foiled attempt to storm a military base early on Wednesday. Chad's military leader has named a veteran opposition politician as the new prime minister as he seeks to stave off protests against continued army rule. The appointment comes several days after a national forum confirmed General Deby as transitional president for the next 2 years. The 75-year-old new prime minister was a presidential candidate several times, standing against General Deby's father, Idris Deby. Russia says it has detained 8 people in connection with Saturday's explosion on a key bridge linking Russia to the Crimea. Its security service says 5 of those held were Russians while the others were Ukrainian and Armenian. The news came as 7 people were reportedly killed in an attack on a market in eastern Ukraine. The United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child has accused Finland of violating the rights of Finnish children by leaving them in life-threatening conditions in Syrian camps. The committee says the prolonged detention of child victims in life-threatening conditions amounted to inhuman and degrading treatment or punishment. My name is Kenneth Jesse. On behalf of the entire team led by Gabriel Ni Obudai Togbo Ashon, thanks for watching. Have a good night.